I've been sitting with this for a full 24 hours, and I know I need to share it. Yesterday, I woke up. I immediately saw a number on the timer left on my alarm because, yes, I hit the snooze button, and walked straight into my office/meditation room, which I do every morning to either meditate, journal, do tarot, oracle cards. But yesterday I felt called to come grab this Bible, and I opened it up to a passage like I would with my tarot and my oracle cards, just to see what scripture I opened it up to see what message might be within. And I need to know if anyone else has thought of this, feels this way, agrees with it, has heard other people say it, whatever. Like, it is just profound and empowering, and I just think more people need to hear it. So let's see if it makes sense to anyone else. For centuries, religious traditions have told about the second coming of Christ as some future event where Jesus returns in bodily form, judges the world, and establishes a new kingdom. But what if we misunderstood that? What if we misunderstood the prophecy? What if the second coming isn't necessarily about the return of one individual, but rather the awakening of divine consciousness within humanity itself? This is exactly what I wrote down yesterday. I felt called to randomly open my Bible this morning. Like tarot and oracle, I often find messages within. This one has me a little shook, to be honest. Mark 13:24. Jesus foretells the manner of his coming. This is so interesting to me because I think right now we are living in a time where a lot of people feel like they see the signs of the second coming, and a lot of people are really terrified. But what I have been feeling, despite the state of things, is that this is some sort of natural order, kind of the crumbling before we rebuild. And I think the message that I got yesterday essentially says that we don't need to be afraid of the second coming. So stick with me for it. And I should probably preface, I was raised in a Christian household, if you will. Like, we went to church. I definitely was raised around Christian theology. Do I consider myself a practicing Christian? No. Okay, so anyways, right away, I got the impression that this isn't about like destruction and despair, but it's about awakening. Mark 13:34. For the Son of Man is a man taking a far journey. The healing process, the awakening process it's a journey. Okay, so that absolutely makes a lot of sense. Mark 11:13, for the time of the fig was not yet. So this makes me think that if you go back to the story of the crucifixion, I think that it had something to do with, regardless of how you tell the story, I think it distills down to the people around him were not ready to understand, could not comprehend the level of consciousness that he was operating at, which I'll get to in just a second. 11:15, Jesus went into the temple and began to cast out them that sold and bought the temple. Okay, see, so you can draw your own conclusions here, but I think that there's reason to have faith in the divine, the wheel of karma. Let it do its work, you know? A little star. 11:20, the fig tree dries up from the roots. So this feels like kind of the process of the awakening, right? Like everything sort of dries up we'll get there. And in the midst of darkness, 11:22, Jesus said, have faith in God. 11:26, forgive, have faith, and manifest, essentially. Okay, so 11:24 says, what ye desire when ye pray, believe that ye receive, and ye shall have. That is manifestation. Okay, this is where I come back to the entire Bible has been misunderstood and is actually a story about personal evolution, and showed us the way to reaching personal transcendence. And the second coming is when we all finally remember that, and we remember that we can play our own part in our own healing and influencing the healing of those around us that are within our sphere of influence. And then 11:29, I love the questions around this, but essentially they're asking him like questions about what he's done, and he says, well, is it of heaven or man? And really it's like, does it matter? Does it really matter? Or is there a difference? Let's see. And then we head into Mark 12:25, a question about the resurrection. For when they shall rise from the dead, he is not the God of the dead, but the God of the living. Ye therefore do greatly err. I don't know what that means, but I do know that he is the God of the living, which means the second coming is not about this mass destruction, this chaotic devastation. It's actually about the re-emerging, the reawakening of our true divinity within, so that we can go through this process of returning to wholeness and returning to the truth that we are all interconnected. We are all God's children, children of the universe, however you want to claim your faith. It is one. It is one and the same, and we are all human beings going on this same journey, but also capable of transcending our humanness to achieve a different level of consciousness and bring about an entirely different experience for every one of us on this earth. And I love this part. Okay, right? So we're talking about what does it mean to have like a better earth or new age earth or 5D earth. Mark 12:28, the greatest commandment. First, the Lord is God and is one Lord. It's all one. However you claim it, it is one. Love the Lord with all thy heart, soul, mind, and strength. And second, love thy neighbor as thyself. Like, just marinate on that one, please. Love the Lord with all thy heart, soul, mind, and strength. Self-love, a place of healthy self-love, is the first commandment, because you and the Lord are inseparable. And love thy neighbor as thyself, because thy neighbor is no different. Thy neighbor is part of the Lord, is part of yourself. We are all one. And there is no commandment greater than these. Mark 12:38, beware of the scribes and the chief seats in the synagogues and the uppermost rooms at feasts, which devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayers. These shall receive greater damnation. This is all about false prophets and grifters. So again, focus on your own healing and your own transcendence, forgiveness, removal of your own blockages and your own resistance. Focus only in on love. Love for yourself, love for your neighbor as yourself, love for your God. 12:43 and 44, the rich give little while the poor give all they have. This is important because this leads right into Mark 13, which is where Jesus foretells future destruction. Peter, James, John, and Andrew ask when the second coming will occur. People are looking for certainty, probably in an uncertain time, which is understandable. Mark 13:6, many shall come in my name. This is deceit. I don't know if it says this is deceit. I just have it in big bold letters around that. 13:7, wars, rumors of wars. Be ye not troubled, for such things must be, but the end shall be not be yet. And then in 13:8, nations against nations, kingdoms against kingdoms, earthquakes, famine. These are the beginnings of sorrows. But we can use these moments as catalysts for our awakening, individually and collectively, to return to our remembrance of our interconnectedness and our divine consciousness, our divinity within, so that we can go through the process of awakening to regain access to what I call Christ consciousness, which is essentially living outside of the 3D elements of fear and oppression and all of the systems that enable that, but instead being able to occupy space in the world from a different level of conscious awareness and love and appreciation for all of humanity. Okay, bear with me. 13:9 through 11, this will shake you awake, and what comes to you speak, which is why I'm sitting here right now. 13:12, I think families start turning on each other, but that's only because, and we're seeing it right now, right? But certain people are awake and see things very, very differently. And certain people think they're awake and also see things very, very differently. We need to come back to unity consciousness. And the only way to do that is by working on your own shit. 13:13, those who endure the same shall be saved. So those who go through the process of awakening do reach a point of appreciation. A point of appreciation. I'm not trying to say it's an award or a reward, but there is an appreciation for the process you've gone through and the person you've become through that process. Mark 14:38, the spirit is ready, but the flesh is weak. This is why the message wasn't received 2,000 years ago. And we instead went down the path of crucifying a messenger of this incredible knowledge, because our collective body, our collective 3D awareness wasn't ready to step into the 4D, the shadow work, the awakening process, the Kundalini awakening, the dark night of the soul. Collectively, however, we are being forced into that right now. And that is bringing about like a required reckoning. And so essentially, if you want to continue to look at the second coming as something terrifying, you can look outward and look at all of the horrendous things that are absolutely occurring and continue to find despair in that. Or you can go within and begin to do the work and start to be part of shifting our greater collective consciousness past the state that we're in now. And if everything you've been doing up until this point hasn't worked, then why not try that, right? Why not give it a shot? And a couple of other interesting things that I found in this whole passage, Mark 15:25 through 34, telling the story about the crucifixion, but it starts giving updates at hours 3, 6, and 9. And all I could think about was how Nikola Tesla, I believe, said if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of 3, 6, and 9. So that was interesting. But then he is also crucified with 2 thieves, one on his right and the other on his left. So I wanted to do some digging there as well. Anyways, once you reach Mark 16:15, it's about sharing this message. For decades and decades, the message has been that the second coming is something to be terrified of. It's something that is going to be mass destruction, mass chaos, painful, horrendous. And I think unless you've been living under a rock, like that moment probably feels like it's already has come. But what we actually have here in front of us is an opportunity to say, that's not the second coming. The second coming is something that I can be a part of and I can control by focusing on raising my consciousness through the process of personal transcendence. And how you go through that process is up to you to determine. What faith you lean on through that process is up to you to determine. But the overarching message, the overarching story is that you can, and in fact you should, be part of this evolution, and that we are in a state today, and I think the blood moon last night was just another confirmation of that. We are finally at a turning point where I think humanity is ready to receive this message. And so if it resonates with you, if you connect it, if you understand it, if you're a little bit woo-woo and totally love Jesus, then this is probably your intersection where you need to start embodying your light and maintaining that presence within yourself, so that you don't have to do anything other than show up and be who you are and show that the work that you've done is worth it. And that is it. And every single one of us that does that is going to be playing a part in tampering and eliminating the old world that is just ruled by chaos, control, fear, and disillusionment. And you're consciously stepping through the process of awakening and into a state of being where you can operate from a love for self and a love for all of humanity, all of your neighbors. And I think that in and of itself, that is it. That is all we have to do. It doesn't have to be harder than that. And that will make incredible changes in this world. Everything within your sphere of influence will begin to operate differently. And it just takes one person around you to make this choice, to start a butterfly effect of other people who start saying, I see something different there. I am willing to try what they're trying. I think I want a little dose of that hope instead of what we are being pulled and sucked into right now. And I'm going to choose love. I am going to choose growth. I am going to choose awareness. I'm going to choose happiness. I'm going to choose love for myself and love for my neighbor and love for my God over continued fear, disillusionment, and a lack of remembrance that we are all part of the same divinity. I don't know. Let me know what you think.